Hi everyone, today in this video we are going to learn about Angular services in 21, in Angular 21. Now, as I have already mentioned here, what is services, why we need it, there are some questions we need to answer that before diving into the theory part and following with the practical part. And in this process, I'll be explaining you everything bit by bit, and I'll make sure that everything gets clear and makes more sense to you my ex- while my while you are going through with the explanation and this video. So let's dive into it and let's start with what is services. Cool, fine. So let me give you a small example and then we'll be answering each one of these questions one by one. Fine. So previously what was happening here was, like, for example, let's say let me do something here. Let's say here what was happening, suppose there are multiple components here. This is one component, this is another component, this is component home, this is a sidebar. Now the, the one thing which is common here is there are high chances that there will be one data, or just a variable, some kind of anything we just want in common, like we are defining some logic here, logic 1 here, and the same logic is being defined here as well, logic 1. The name of that logic is logic 1. The same is getting defined in the both the section. Let's say there is another component footer. Here also we are using the same logic, logic 1. Now what is happening here is we are repeating the same logic multiple times. Like, repetition is happening, right? Repetition is happening here. Now to break this thing, we have something called services. Better to define this logic 1 inside this logic 1 and share this file with each one of these components wherever it is required. So this is the logic. Now the benefit of it is there is no repetition of logic 1. There is one place where we have stored the file as a service, the logic we have stored, and we are just sharing it wherever it is required. Let's say in home, if it requires, we are sharing it. So this is what the whole concept of services. So here we'll see how to use these services. First thing is there are some questions is why we need it. Whenever we let's see, let's like whenever we want a common logic to implement in other components as well, then we want services to be executed for that. And when we need it, simple, like whenever we want a logic to be executed which is already been written in services. How to use it, this is what the main thing or the core part of this uh, video is, right? How to use it. See, so what we are going to do, step one is, one, generate a service first. Ng generate service, like name of service, name of service. Okay, this is step one. This can be also written as ng generate service, name of service, name of service. You can write this as well. This is step one. Step two is, now when you will do this thing, this name of service, this is the name, this is not the service, this is, here you will change, you can change this name to anything, my service, the data service, whatever it is. Now what the Angular will do, it will create files of this, like name of service. service.ps file, like the class, like what we basically have. It will look like this. Here it will create a decorator of injectable injectable decorator. Here you'll have this provided in something like that, which is we like provided in something like that. You'll have it on something like that, which will be root. Now I'll explain you what is this. Now why we write this one. Now this means singleton. Just make sure of this. Like I'm a little confused. I have not memorized it. See, I'll explain you what is this. This is important. This part is important. You'll later on you'll get to know what is the variable written here. Singleton. Now this singleton is a little interesting. It means that we need to make only one single instance, means only one services will be present. The copy of the services will be only one. There will no multiple instance of that, like we say object and classes in Java or something like that there. But here this one service will give services to every components whenever a component will call this service. Now the reason is it will be predictable, means we know how what in return we are going to get and what type of data it will give. Now for every component who calls it, they'll get the same data in return. Now component 1 is calling it, it will get a return, let's say call name of string called Vishwajit. Then the component 2 will also, if it calls the same service, also get the name Vishwajit. There will be no changes in the output of this service. Okay, so this is one thing that is very much important, and this is why we have singleton. Singleton means it is centralized. Services is centralized single instance. Okay, it will be single instance. The only one service will in the center, and that only one service will get redirected to each and every component which whoever calls it. Okay, so this is what it is. And let's say, okay, cool. Now what? Now this is what this root means. Okay, singleton. Mm, export class, it will be predefined there. Export class, myself the name of that service. You will write something here, your logic. Yeah, that's it. And now this was the theory part. Now after that, we'll have dependency injection. There is very good thing is there, which is known as dependency injection. Now we'll learn this. So after creating, this is after creating services successfully. Dependency injection is happens. It happens in component. So it happens in component who wants it okay. So this is what is dependency injection works, and we'll see this in practically, and while we'll use it in practically, this will it will clear all your doubts, and less confusion will be there. Now let's go straight into the coding part. Now here do one thing. First, create a folder here, go to your SASE source, and inside your app file, new folder called services. Okay, so go to inside your services, cd app, then inside app services. Okay, inside services, create one services name called ng generate service called my service. Okay, generated, created. So go to your services. See, here we have our services class inside this. So this is what I was talking about, provided in it is root. Here when we say it's root, it means singleton, means centralized single instance of the service. Every all the components all over the application can access it. Okay, now inside this we are going to create a data, right? So previously what we were talking about sharing the logic. We can also share the data as well, like we can centralize the data and we can share that data to all the components wherever it is required. For example, let's say we have an array of name of the string and we want to share it to multiple components whoever wanted. Let's say we have a data of type string array, array of called name Vijay, Vijay, Vishal, like that. Okay. Now what we need to write a function like get data. Get data. It will return. It will return the string array. It will return the string array and return this dot data. This dot data, and to update anything inside this, put data. Put data. Let's say we'll have new data of type string. This dot data this dot data dot push new data. Cool. So in this function we are getting the data, and in this function we are updating this data. Okay, so now why I have created this function, I'll show you. When we'll now our services, this one is done. Now we will need to work on our data dependency injection. Okay, so let's say we want this inside our app ts file we want here. So first thing is, let's say we import that dependency my services. We'll import that my services. Okay, done. See, there are two things there are two ways to inject this dependency. So first one, you'll just simply create a constructor or something like that, but there is one more way where it's the same thing. There are two ways to do that. One is using constructor and another one is just directly injecting it, inject function. For example, let's say provided protected data trial. Here I'm going to inject it, inject my service. I'm injecting my service. Now inside data trial, directly everything, all these functions that get data, then put data, something like that, everything is there now in data trial. So let's say trial service is equal to this dot data trial dot get data. See, now inside this we have all those data. Now I'll copy this one, go to your app.html. Now this component was in app.ts file. Inside this, let's say enter it for item of trial service track item. So now what you do is list of item. Now ng serve Oh, see, Vishwajit, Abhijit, and Vishal. So this is how it works. Hope it makes sense to you. In next video, we'll learn about HTTP client and router as well. If anything you didn't understood or something like didn't understand, then do comment, do subscribe the channel, and that's good. And any suggestion, do write in the comment box, and it will really help me to enhance my teaching skills and to explain you better way. Thank you so much for watching my videos and keep learning,